Ramadan.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back. News and Views with Hassan Logat. I must apologize to the Chief Executive Officer of Islamic Relief, Yusuf Mohamed. Our last interview ran over, and as a guest, I got carried away. Uh, Islamic Relief South Africa is expanding its aid efforts towards Palestine, and they've done great work. And really, we want you to follow them and follow us and support at hashtag Palestine, hashtag Ramadan 2025, hashtag Ramadan 2025 SM. Uh, Islamic Relief is an international NGO, and we're now talking, of course, to the head of the South African chapter. It was founded in the UK, that is England, United Kingdom, in 1984. It has its headquarters in Birmingham and has offices and branches throughout the world in more than 40 countries working with vulnerable people. You can't have more vulnerable people at this moment than Palestinians, the Sudanese, the Congo. So, really, I'm sure Yusuf, welcome. Please enlighten us about about your work. I know it's really, really good work. I worked in NGOs and I admired your work for a long time. Could you just enlighten our listeners to what you are doing currently, what's your current appeal, and how can we help?
Inshallah, Jazakallah khair, Brother Hassan. Assalamu alaikum to you and to the listeners of Salam Media this morning. And no problem at all regarding the delay. It happens in, especially with humanitarian journalism. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from you and from Salam Media as well. As you have mentioned, Brother Hassan, in your introduction, Alhamdulillah, by the grace of Allah, Islamic Relief currently is the largest international humanitarian organization other than the UN agencies that are currently working in Gaza. We've been working in Palestine since 1997. We've established an office there, and our brothers and sisters that work in Islamic Relief Palestine are from Palestine. They are Palestinians. They live in Palestine with their families. And since this brutal escalation on the 7th of October 2023, our staff in Gaza have been enduring the same hardships and difficulties and challenges that every single brother and sister of ours in Gaza has been enduring over the last 17 months. But despite that, alhamdulillah, our team remains committed and dedicated to our mission, and that is to provide humanitarian aid to the most vulnerable and needy people. And in Gaza, literally every single person is vulnerable and every single person is in need, including our staff. SubhanAllah, if one thinks about the situation currently, over the last 17 months, Islamic Relief has, by the grace of Allah and through, again, the generosity of our donors globally, including our donors here in South Africa, we've done an amazing job under the circumstances. Alhamdulillah. To give you an idea of the scale of our work in Gaza, to date we've distributed over 70 million hot meals. 70 million. That is at an average of about 200 to 250,000 hot meals per day. In terms of hot meal provision, Islamic Relief currently is the largest partner to the World Food Program in Gaza. The World Food Program relies for about 30% of their distribution in Gaza. They rely on Islamic Relief for this. And that in itself gives you an idea that Islamic Relief not only is a humanitarian organization that has a broad reach, but it's a trusted organization, and we have experience and know-how in dealing with the situation in Gaza. And alhamdulillah, apart from the food, we've also provided water to close to 1 million people. We've distributed almost 70,000 hygiene packs. And then also what is often overlooked is, the psychological trauma that people endure in situations like this. And we've provided psychosocial support to more than 100,000 precious children and to 500 women. As we know, the death toll currently is sitting at about 50,000 people, 50,000 souls that have been lost completely, without justification. They've not been lost, actually, they've been taken, they've been killed. People that have been brutally killed in what we are, and we have acknowledged now, the world has acknowledged it as a genocide, and we are watching this genocide unfold before our eyes. And this 50,000 people that have been killed is only the numbers that are confirmed. It is estimated that a similar amount is still buried under the rubble. And subhanallah, despite this, despite all these challenges and difficult circumstances, our brothers and sisters in Gaza, they really continue to inspire us. Their resilience, their faith, their steadfastness is really a
So
lesson
Yusuf,
to the
here's
world.
my question then. Here's my question to you. Over the past 3 weeks, when Israel renewed its, of course, its
Blockade.
serial, yeah, it's a serial breaker of ceasefires. So when it
Yes,
broke that
subhanallah.
and it started
Yeah,
blockading, cutting off electricity, stopping, not that it was interested at all. How have you guys
yes,
managed? How have you managed
yeah,
with that? Given it's Ramadan as well, so they're
yes.
making people who are fasting starve.
SubhanAllah. It's unbelievable, Brother Hassan. Since the 2nd of March 2020, this year, more than 3 weeks ago now, Israel blocked off the border to all aid. So no aid has entered Gaza since the 2nd of October. In the last 17 months, this is the longest period that the border has been closed. There have been previous occasions when they've blocked aid from entering. And we are calling on the international community. Salam Media plays a pivotal role here. We need to be lobbying government and institutions to place pressure, to put pressure on the occupation, the Israeli military, to lift this blockade. Because if aid is not allowed into Gaza anytime soon, it's going to have a catastrophic effect. Our team, as I mentioned, they live in Gaza there with their families. They are going through the same difficulties. In the last week, the bombing has been completely indiscriminate. Even areas that were considered, and we know in Gaza there is really no safe area, but there were certain areas that the Israeli military designated as safe areas where people that have had their homes destroyed were living in tents. Yesterday, an area that was where we had a tented designated safe area was bombed. We've seen hospitals being bombed. In the last 24 hours, 2 journalists were deliberately targeted, clearly identified as journalists. One was in a car, a vehicle. The vehicle was targeted by the Israeli military. So at the moment, the situation is completely beyond belief, and yet the world is sitting and watching, really doing very little to nothing. So we encourage the community out there. Please continue supporting the organizations that are working on the ground. The reason for this is while the border may be closed now, we know that it cannot be closed indefinitely. At some stage, the Israelis are going to have to open the border again, and then we have to get in as much aid as possible. So we need to prepare for that. So please keep supporting the organization. Please keep
What
advocating.
kind of,
Use your voice.
yeah?
Sorry,
So we
brother.
know why it's important to support Palestine as we do. But
Yes.
what can our listeners do to support your work, your efforts? What can brothers and sisters in Palestine? How should we connect with them during this
Yes.
critical time? Beyond our prayers, what else is required, and how can we break the siege?
Yes, as you said, definitely we need the du'as. We need the prayers of every single person, peace-loving humanitarian in the world today. We need your prayers. We need you to advocate. We need you not to let this issue die. We need you to use your platforms to continue to spread the message and to highlight just the atrocities that is being committed by the Israeli military. And then we need the financial support to keep providing humanitarian aid to the people in Gaza. At the moment, nobody in Gaza can survive without humanitarian aid. So, we urge the community out there, please keep supporting us. You can reach us via our website and make secure donations via our website at www.islamic-relief.org.za. You can visit one of our offices in Cape Town, Johannesburg, or Durban. You can either visit personally or give us a call to discuss, exactly how you'd like to be involved and support. But we do need every single person to support this, this really critical cause and issue in Gaza.
So I know it's not your area to think about. What must the powers that be, the Arab League, the Security Council, the Maverick in the White House, what should they do to support your work?
If you were to ask any person in Gaza, and this is what I believe is what we should be doing, it's not for us to decide or for us to dictate. Ask any Palestinian in Gaza what they want now. All they want is peace. What they want now is for the bombing to stop. We need a ceasefire. We need people to resume some kind of normal, life, get some kind of normalcy back to their lives. It's unbelievable the psychological trauma that this is causing the people. We are not in that situation, but we can imagine what it must be like for them. And thereafter, there needs to be some discussion and negotiation about a lasting peace settlement. As we know, this injustice, as any injustice in the world, can never persist. It will never last forever. Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching everything. He has a plan, and His plan is unfolding according to His knowledge and wisdom. We just need to do as best we can in this situation with full trust, full reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, do as best we can and put our trust in Him that indeed, eventually the victory will be for those who believe.
Thank you very much. Is there anything else, Brother Yusuf, that you want to say to us? You've said it all. We have to bring justice back, a just solution, but starts with ending the bombings. And those who support the killings there are not just in Netanyahu's office. They're far away in Washington, in the capitals of Europe. So we will campaign around that. But is there any last word from you? If not, thank you very much for joining us.
Jazakallah khair, Mr. Hassan. Thank you so much. And we in the last blessed night of Ramadan, please, in these nights, we urge every single Muslim, don't please forget your brothers and sisters in Gaza in your dua.
Thank you very much, Shukran, and very wise words. And as we heard from Stian, he calls on all humanity to join Muslims in this holy month. Shukran for that message, and thank you, everyone. Yusuf, let's talk again, my brother.
Inshallah.
Islam. We are thankful for that interview. We are on News and Views with Hassan Logat on Salam Media.
You are listening to Salam Media Live.